Lizzie B here. Just wanted to make a quick video before New Year's, before 2016 is over. And I hope everybody had a great Christmas. So with this video, I just wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind, that kind of a weird memory that came up out of nowhere. And there's definitely a lesson in it, as with all my stories. There's always something that I got out of it. This memory kind of came up after I had a conversation with my mom. So I was thinking about when I was 17 years old and I just graduated from high school, and during summer break, right before I was going to start at college, I worked at Walmart. I worked overnight with my sisters. And so we worked overnight, and I remember one particular day coming in, and my older sister had been working there. I think she had worked there before, whatever. And she knew that there was a brother, I forget his name, that had worked at Walmart as well, but he was an elder. And I had never seen him on a specific shift. And she said that he was there, but he just never really spoke with her. And he didn't really speak to any of us anyway, because, you know, he was, I think it was like we were pre-shunned. And this was before I knew that was a thing. We just knew that they were mean and they didn't speak to us. So we were pre-shunned because our attendance going to the Kingdom Hall was quite spotty in the last few years of high school. There was a lot going on, but either way, we ran into him one day while we were working, and you know, he was just getting off of his shift. And this brother was an elderly brother. He was like maybe in his 70s. He had a wife that was sickly, and it was just interesting seeing that he was working at Walmart. I don't know if he was a greeter because he wasn't very friendly, but I think he like stocked shelves or something, whatever the case was. It was this weird moment where you see him as a regular person, the regular person that he is. As far as society standards, he was not, like a bigwig. He wasn't an important guy. It was just some old guy that worked at Walmart. And in that moment, it was just weird kind of seeing that, this person that has so much power when it comes to his religion was just a regular guy who worked at Walmart and had no power. It was really interesting. At the time, I didn't think much of it, because everybody that went to our congregation for the most part was, there were no rich people that went to our congregation. A lot of just regular people, but it was still just really kind of weird because this was somebody that we saw as important, and being that we were teenagers, but we were still kids. It's, we saw him as important. It was kind of like seeing your school teacher at the grocery store. But in this particular case, it's like seeing your school teacher, I guess, working at the grocery store. So that was the same thing for us. Now that I'm an adult, I look back and I think about that memory, and I think about the fact that this person was essentially a petty tyrant. This is a person that has the power and the leverage to withhold your entire support system from you. And that's crazy. When you think about it, it's insane. It's, this is a person who, to any other person, any non-Jehovah's Witness, anybody that's out in the world, they would see this man and he's just a, door greeter. But for us, this was a person that could, completely cut us off from friends and family, that could actually have the power to, tell us to refuse a certain, or punish us for accepting blood, or, kind of hold that over us. And in a sense, that's having the power of life and death over somebody. And one thing that I thought about was the fact that these people, elders like that brother, and they would not have the power that they have if we, the people, the peons in the organization, didn't give them that power. And so I just thought that was really interesting. It's something that I've just been thinking about over the past few days. And then it also kind of led me to thinking about a lot of the kind of nasty attitudes people have when they find out that you do have an education, or that, you do have some kind of status outside of the organization. There is definitely an air of indignation about it. I've noticed. I mean, like I said in another video, I didn't lie, but I never said anything about my getting a master's degree. Nobody, I stopped going to the Kingdom Hall, as I mentioned, years before. So nobody to this day, unless they've been kind of following me, maybe in social media or whatever, would know that I have a master's degree, because that is something that I did not mention. I remember one time we were building, I helped out on a building committee of building a Kingdom Hall. And they told us to wear sweatshirts, and it was cold, it was freezing. So I wore my college sweatshirt, because that's the only sweatshirt that I had at the time. And it had, the name of my school across it. And they gave me all this tape to tape up the logo of my school. And the logo was so big that it looked like I was bandaged up. So the whole day people were coming up to me and they're like, "Oh my God, sis, are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm fine. I just went to college." And so it was just, at the time I just found it weird, and I thought, well, maybe they just they feel like I'm rubbing it in their faces or something like that. But in a sense, now in hindsight, I see that it's threatening. It's threatening. It's threatening to, the 80-year-old man that works at Walmart, that, cleans up on the night shift at a hospital or whatever. It's threatening. It's to see someone young and a woman that you are supposed to have all of this power over, and that person, out in the world could be your boss. So, I think that the Kingdom Hall, the Jehovah's Witness religion, as an entire organization, has created this, imaginary hierarchy, this system of importance, and these people have bought into it. And anything that kind of shatters that illusion is dangerous. And so that's why there's this, there's a lot of, energy put into making people believe that having an education is nothing. It means nothing. It's, if anything, it's frowned upon, and having a good job is just, oh, that's ridiculous. Who would want that? These are all things that would kind of make somebody feel like, no, I do have my own opinions. I do have authority over my own life. I am smart. I am, I don't need to rely on you for A, B, and C. I got it. You know what I mean? And to an extent, I felt that way anyway. But, the fact that I was there showed them that, okay, well, there's some leverage we have, and let's use it. And that was one of the reasons why at a lot of the congregation, because I skipped around, I went to a bunch of congregations to try and find the right one, because I didn't want to go to the childhood congregation I went to that was really, really awful. And at every single one that I went to visit, they would always ask me, how much of your family is in the truth? How, do you have friends that are not in the truth? And I always wondered why. I felt ashamed when I would say, yeah, no, I don't have a lot of family in the truth. I always felt embarrassed about it. But now I understand that they were trying to find out how much control they could have over me. They wanted to know how much leverage they had. And so that's something to think about as well for anybody that's trying to leave, or anybody that's even studying with Jehovah's Witnesses or considering it. Understand that they need leverage. And if you have a support system outside of them, that's a problem. And they know that's a problem. So make sure that you have that support system, period. Just in general, just to be smart. You want to make sure that you have a support system, and also understand that, go to college, get a good job, do whatever you have to do to support yourself. You do not want to rely on these people. Trust me, you don't. So yeah, that was something that I was thinking about, the brother that worked at Walmart, and, that was controlling people's lives when it came to him and a group of other brothers that were, in the judicial committees cutting people off from their entire families, ruining people's lives, and working at Walmart in the daytime. You know what I mean? And this is not just the congregation I went to as a child. This is nationwide. This is worldwide. This is what's happening. So I just thought that was interesting. I also had an experience. Also, I don't know if I should tell this one, but what the heck? I had an experience where a brother, like me and my husband had went to a congregation, and the brother had asked how to spell our last name, and our last name is a very common last name, and it's not just common as a name; it's common as a word. And so my husband says it's such and the brother says, how do you spell your last name? And that's kind of a nice way to say, what's your last name again? If in case you forget, like that's a nice way to do it. My phone is blowing up. I'm sorry. So, we thought maybe he'd forgotten our last name. So my husband says, oh, it's such and such, like the blank. I'm sorry, I'm not giving y'all my last name. And the brother gives this look, and like he was sad. I was just weird, confused, like, please spell it, type thing. And then sure enough, when my husband said, oh, shoot, I did the wrong thing. And I was like, well, I don't understand. And he's like, he didn't know how to spell it. He didn't know how to spell that word. And I'm like, and I was kind of, miffed at that, because with my maiden name, it was hard to spell. I spelled it out for everybody, even people that were like, I think I got it. I'm like, no, you don't. But I was so happy to change my name to this new name because it's such a common word. And when this brother couldn't spell it, he couldn't come out and say that he couldn't spell it. He's an elder. Of course he knows how to spell it, but he didn't. And this is not to poke fun at him for not being able to spell a common word, but this is to let you know that these are really, really, really common men, and they have the power to ruin and destroy people's lives. That is not acceptable. It's not acceptable for someone who has, who's the smartest person in the world. And it's not acceptable for a regular person that works at Walmart. It's not acceptable for anyone to have that kind of leverage and power over your life. So to put things into perspective, that's why I gave this video the title that I did. And it's to just kind of show that we're dealing with petty tyrants. We're dealing with regular people who have made up titles that give them all of this power. And they're no more special than you or me. They're just a regular person that should only have to deal with their own situation and not have any influence over anybody else's life. So keep that in mind. And that's it. I hope you enjoy the rest of 2016. I really, really do. And I'll see you on the other side. Bye. I mean, on the other side of the year. I'm not going anywhere, hopefully. All right. Bye.